Hello everyone, this is Project Fashion Workshop. I remind you that we post new videos every day. My dear subscribers, today I wanted to meet my friend Sandro.
Hi,
I've known
everyone.
Sandro for a very long time. He studied in the university here in Krasnodar. He was a student at the Faculty of Design. He was a groupmate of my daughter Inga. Sandro lives in New York. Sandro, please, tell us about your career and about your journey in the fashion world.
Ну, я хочу, во-первых, чтобы он сам рассказал нам, я хочу, чтобы вы рассказали о своей профессии, о важных вехах вашей профессии. Как, с чего все начиналось?
The biggest dream of my passion in fashion, it was my student life. When I was student, I got a lot of support from many different people. They don't talk about it, they just look at it, they just make a point. But sometimes I got a lot of attention from very serious in fashion industry people. They kind of catch eye on me, but at the same time, again, nobody says any word. So in 2008, I decided to travel to United States and try over there and see how it's gonna work. For me, it was kind of big question, if I make it, if I'm not make it, how it's gonna be. But most of the time, it always was in my head, I have nothing to lose, I just have to keep working hard, and maybe someday I've got big bonus. Bonus from the people, bonus from opportunities, maybe from the culture, something, new projects gonna come to me. Of course, it was not easy. I have to do a lot of different jobs at the same time. But I never give up on my fashion ideas. I always in the middle of lunchtime or evening time, I was making something by my hand. And it can be like embroidery, crochet, many different things. But in the United States, after 10 years of working, I can tell it's something I already can do. I have some name. And you can check my name on the internet, Wikipedia, Google, even Netflix. You just put my name on it and pops out many different programs.
Вы работаете в своей студии, да?
Yes, I do. I work in my studio. I have my place where I usually work all the time. It's a big apartment. So most of the time I'm there. Sometimes if I have a big order was the bridals or evening gowns, red carpets, I hiring some extra hands, the people who help me with the faster to make my ideas come through.
Sandro, could you please tell us about your work with different fashion houses? What advice could you give to designers who want to become a part of the fashion world? What to start with? What should they offer? I know that you work with different fashion houses. Could you please tell us about them and about the things which are the most important for young designers in your opinion?
Okay, so I started working my first fashion house. It was Oscar de la Renta. I was working one season over there. I've got some clients, I've got some name already. Because of my personality, of course, everybody knows me from there. There's some Russian guy who's like crazy with ideas. He's always doing samples, he's doing many different things. And I always got attention from the people. After Oscar, I started working for the embroidery fashion house. It's called Shamiza. It's two Indian sisters who doing a lot of embroidery work for many different fashion houses. My department it's a shoes department. I start from there. It was Manolo Blahnik, Jimmy Choo, some of Oscar de la Renta also. I was doing many different sketches for the embroideries, exactly for the shoes, particular shoes design. And I was traveling to India, and I see like those 300 men sitting on the floor. They're making all these embroideries very fast, very crazy. Every 20 minutes they're making break, they have a tea, and then I go back and they again doing the embroidery. It was a very interesting experience of my life. Then also I got experience doing embroidery designs for the Dolce&Gabbana, Roberto Cavalli. I've got some little big Giorgio Emporio Armani actually. It was Emporio, different department. Little by little, step by step, I finally start making my name for this fashion industry. And after about maybe 5 years, I already started doing my own stuff. I always was doing my own stuff, but more focusing to be as a freelancer. It's very nice when the company hired you to do like a season or two, you're selling your ideas. But at the same time, I always was thinking about my particular style and my work, which I don't see often any kind of fashion brand can do the same work. It's too long with details, it's a lot of philosophy, and usually fashion houses, they want to sell twice a year production, so they don't have really much time, have big philosophy about the fashion. They just keep doing and stamping like food stamps cards back and forth. So that was my experience. So about the experience for the guys who just starting doing the fashion industry, I want to tell you it's not gonna be easy. It's a lot of hard work, sometimes 16, sometimes 18 hours, 7 days a week. At the same time, you have to do your regular job to pay your bills. But you cannot give up if you're very strongly, highly believing in your passion. If you believe in your ideas, you have to be prepared and ready for this hard work. At the same time, you have to understand which particular signature with details on your particular style. Are you interested in do evening? Are you interested in pret-a-porter? Are you interested in do accessories? Maybe you like painting on the fabrics, and that's your particular silhouette and your particular style, which you don't see often on any fashion brand house. So for you, you have to make, for example, if you're making jackets, you have to make them like 50 of them and completely different. Each of them have to be different. You can't do the same. So when you have strong motivation to go any fashion house, knocking the door, here I am, I want to present stuff, what I'm doing, maybe you're interested, have some assistance or whatever, you have to show a lot of stuff, and they have to be different. You cannot do the same pattern or the same silhouettes over and over and over, because you don't know exactly which designer, what they're gonna like. So when you have many different choices, then more chances you have to get hired or be interested by somebody. And you always have to remember, no matter what you're gonna do, you're never gonna impress any fashion designer, big fashion designer. They're already sharks, they're already in the business for very, very long time. So you have to be ready, impress them by something unique and something individual, which you don't see often of any magazines or any editorial photo shoots. So you have to be like different. Remember, different pieces, never look the same, and a lot of them. And always be ready. You never be welcome in the beginning. Basically, it's a giant competition for all of us fashion industry. So you be lucky if you find somebody who have a big heart and give you a hand and help you. But most of the time, you're gonna have a lot of negative opinions and critiques. You don't have to pay attention about it at all. Continue doing what you're doing and make every year much stronger than last year, much more impressive pieces. That's my advice for you.
I would also like to ask you whether you sew garments alone or not. Do you use some help? In your opinion, does a designer need to be able to sew? What do you think about the profession of a tailor? I would like to know whether you agree with me or not. I think that a tailor is a very noble profession. I want Ken, ladies and gentlemen, to learn to be not only designers, but also tailors. This is what I'm here for. I want people to understand that being a tailor is also very prestigious. So the question is whether a designer has to know how to sew or not.
Of course. Any designer, unfortunately, they are supposed to know how to do good tailor work. I think, I always tell the people, if you have a good hands, you have to do like some practicity as a seamstress, where you're fixing zippers, you're doing hem on the skirts, you're fixing the pants, you're fixing the jackets. Your hands learn and automatically know exactly what you have to do particular as a tailor To be a tailor, it's a good skills. It's a very big, giant, powerful background for your experience in the fashion industry. One thing when you're creating and sketching on the paper, another thing when you're sketching and you understand construction, how it's gonna be, how you're gonna cut the fabrics, how you're gonna play with details, so your line and your graphic on the sketch going exactly as in your mind as if you be a tailor and you're gonna cut the fabric on the pieces and making it. So for you, my advice, it's always good if you know how to cut fabrics, if you know how to be a good tailor. It's very great, but most of designers getting very lazy. They think if they learn how to sketching, so they know how to be a designer. That's a big, giant. Don't believe that. It's something you usually like, it's a big mistake, because when you start doing your own business, you start realizing how many skills you don't have in your head, you don't learn, or you're being lazy, you're not interested, and you have to hire some like people who gonna do for this. In America, usually a lot of seamstresses and tailors, it's Asian ladies or Italians. It's a lot of, it's a big industry. They have their own atelier where they cut the fabrics, they have patterns, they have so many different, it's a different industry and good money. You're actually saving a lot of money if you're cutting all your pieces by yourself. And it helps a lot. I personally do by myself all my things, but because I already jumped much higher than just doing tailor, I'm multitasking. I'm doing like patterning, and I'm doing crochet, and I like trying to play with appliques, and sometimes if you see on my dresses, there's so many different techniques in one piece, but this doesn't look too much. It's look like a one beautiful symphony of idea how my woman should be look like. This is something usually I try to tell the other guys who understand construction and how to be a good tailor. You have to play with different techniques and try it. From little small jacket or some small skirt or some pants, but with many different techniques, and see how you can make in it. Of course, in the first pieces, it's gonna be look awful, but you can't give up. You have to continue doing this, because after a while, you understand a much stronger production coming from your hands, and much beautiful, much more interesting it can be. So it's gonna be nice results after very hard work of many pieces you destroyed.
What we were talking about refers mostly to designers and people who want to work in the fashion industry. Anyway, most of my subscribers are people who love to sew at their free time. It's not their profession. It's just their hobby. What advice could you give them?
I understand there's many people who like this as a hobby, and my advice for you guys, there's many interesting right now different techniques people do by hands. Usually I try to tell them start from patchwork. From patchwork you can learn how patient you are, how strong nerves you have to make all those pieces, and start to doing like some, you know, pillow cases. It's very interesting if you make some detail work on the pillowcases, or some like fabrics for the table to put around. And pieces, you cut it, again, each piece you cut it, it's all about how passionate you are and how much patience you have to finish all the piece and stitch together. It's actually nice therapy when you have a very hard day and very stressful day, and you start doing something with your hand crafting. It helps a lot to come down and realize it's not so bad in your life. Many things can be. You can do by your hands very beautiful piece, and actually people come to your house, they're gonna see this something you did for yourself, or you can do as a present for somebody. It's also nice. And unfortunately for me, in New York City, people love very much if you're doing something from your hands as a present, as a gift. It's really nice. So my advice for you, just starting from the patchwork, when you already got that technique very well and you make a lot of pieces for your house, for your friends, you have to start knitting. Knitting or crocheting. It's another story in the fashion industry where you can do so many beautiful things. And you can start from little small pillowcases, decoration for your like interior in your apartment or your office even, or maybe like a lake house. With people who lives in Connecticut, they always have a beautiful terrace in the house and they have many beautiful pillows. There you can put it so many fantasy, but little by little. For me, it also was as a hobby experience when I was a student. And then I've learned how to make from the little hobby to completely your full-time job and as a business and create your name. It's all about being patient, have a passion, and don't give up.
My dear subscribers, I work really hard to teach you so high-quality garments fast and easy. I teach you to work with patterns, to not be afraid to use your imagination when drawing a sketch. I want you to remember that practice makes perfect. I really hope that you find my tutorials useful. Thank you for all your positive comments. Please subscribe to the Instagram account of Sandro. You can find it in the description to this video. That's all for today. We're Paukšte Irina and Sandro.
Bye. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you. Goodbye.